Well, here we are.
Where are we?
I don't know.
Well, here we are. Where are
I
we?
need the GPS to tell me now.
Oh, that's too big.
Ooh,
Don't need that. Nobody needs
watching
that.
ourselves on the monitor here.
No. Minimize. It's not. Respond. Excuse me. Minimize, please. Thank you.
We're in our own faces.
Nobody needs to see themselves that closely.
No.
There's not a single
No.
person
No.
who needs to be that close up.
Oh my. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
We have not been here for a couple of weeks.
Give them a second. They're coming in.
And they're coming in slowly but surely.
Give them a moment.
Mostly slowly.
And don't call me Shirley.
We don't want to jump the gun, but we do want to welcome you.
You usually want to jump the gun.
I do.
It's one of your favorite things.
I do.
Is gun jumping.
Yep.
Okay. It would appear that we are functioning.
It would appear.
It's always all I really need.
Hello from Philo, Illinois.
Hello. Yeah, Jonathan is always with us.
Hi, Jonathan. Nice to see you.
Hi.
I know at least a few of our friends, like
I would help you if I knew how.
Yeah, a handful of people that we know and that we join here every week are in Columbus, Ohio, for what used to be called the Sin Event over Memorial Day weekend. And it's now called something else. It's sort of morphed.
The other Sin Event.
Yes.
The nearly Sin Event.
Jenny and Larry are there.
Yep.
And Scott Hyman is there.
Yep.
And
as we like to say, the usual suspects.
That's right. Thank you. I am feeling better. I'm feeling a lot better. And that's why we haven't been with you the last 2 Sundays. So I've been sick. Nothing life-threatening, nothing dramatic.
Just unpleasant for him.
Just
unpleasant for him.
If we had done the show, it would have had to be from a bathroom
or a bed. In any way, it wouldn't have gone well for you. So here we is. We're gonna plow through. I am, though I appear to be awake, I am not. So if at any point you see me just fall over, that's why. It was a big week. It's funny. All the parents are posting right now. Daisy had her last day of school for this school year. Preschool. So returning in August, and all of the parents have been posting. We had their little graduation for the older kids yesterday. And, we're talking about 4 and 5-year-olds. It was very funny. It was very cute. But a lot of the parents today are posting. So this is something that you did not have, that I did not have growing up. I'm going to fix your hair. There are now these various apps that if you are a parent with a child in a school, they require you to use so that you can converse with one another. We use one called Band. And in it, everybody posts pictures. They post, they let you know how things are going, all sorts of stuff, updates. And today, because yesterday was very sentimental with the graduation, they're posting videos of the kids who graduated their first day at school.
Yeah.
At OCP, at our school.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just dying. And I'm looking at these kids because it's nuts when you spend time with kids from the ages of, let's say, 2 to 5. They change drastically. Their first few years of life, every few months, the changes it's not as simple as, you got a bigger shoe. It's not walking to walking, not having teeth to having a full mouth of teeth, not really being able to speak and then speaking really clearly. So all these videos, right. They're overwhelming.
Yeah.
To see these kids, as I say, who are now 4 and 5, who started at 2 at the school. And it's things, like there's a little girl named Brooklyn who I absolutely adore. And her mom, she's sitting at the kitchen table. She looks so little. Her mommy says, "What's your teacher's name?" She goes, "Teacher Kate." Just this little voice, "Teacher Kate." And so yeah, It's very special, and I'm grateful that I get to spend so much time with my kid, but also with all of these kids, because it reminds you to sort of, especially with the world being on fire, it's really nice to be able to just escape and focus on the kids. You know, you don't have to think about everything else. You can just look at these little kids and be present and be with them. And man, oh man. Yeah. Today is the anniversary of Richard Sherman's passing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know. We know. I was talking to my husband about it last night. Because on the one hand, it absolutely feels like a year, and on the other hand, it doesn't feel possible
Yeah.
in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's a very strange feeling.
But we were lucky to have him as long as we did.
Yeah. Can't complain when you have that many memories and
Yeah.
experiences, and we traveled together and we got to see so much. So I can't really be mad, but I want him back.
And you have video that
Yes.
someday Daisy will understand
Yes.
who is in the video with her.
Yeah. She'll be able to look at that, and we have so many incredible memories with him. But yeah, you're always going to want more because he's just too important. Anyway, so it's an interesting time movie and TV wise, because obviously we're entering into summer, and there was a big thing that Lilo and Stitch broke some kind of something box office weekend, which I'm glad that it's not terrible. That's always nice.
Some people I know liked it very much.
Yeah. The director is Dean Fleischer Camp, who I adore. He and Jenny Slate created Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. And he's an incredibly thoughtful, really thoughtful guy. And he has an eye and an ear, and I hoped that he would be able to bring, I mean, look, why people feel the need to make animated into live action, I don't understand. For the life of me, I don't understand. But at least if you're going to have someone do it, choose someone with an imagination like his.
Yeah.
You know? And if you haven't seen the Marcel the Shell with Shoes On 10-minute short or the feature film, we recommend it to you.
Yes.
Because both are wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. And very special and unique. Like genuinely unique. So yeah, recommend both.
One of a kind, absolutely charming and disarming, because you think you're not going to get swept up in it. Well, you think you won't have an emotional response to this,
but man, they went for it. They really went for it. But yeah, so I'm happy for that. We like movies to be good. We'd like every movie to be good. But so that's the big sort of one at the moment. Obviously, Mission Impossible has been premiering all over the world, and they've been going all out for it. In London, Claire got video of they had, Tom Cruise on top of a building, top of a giant dome, and he's literally on top of the damn thing. And then people who worked in the film, like Simon Pegg, are releasing footage that they took on their phones of him rehearsing stunts. There's one of him on a motorcycle, and he just goes off a cliff. And it's real. And there's a helicopter following him. And it cuts back to Simon Pegg, who just starts like cursing and just being like, how the hell is this possible? So yeah, we'll see. I haven't heard any response to the film. Like, I've yet to hear anybody say anything good or bad. I've just seen these big premieres that they're doing.
I know it's long.
Yeah, well, why not? Everything else is. And then we're coming to the end of a number of series finishing episodes. 10 episodes seems to be the popular number at the moment. I did just finish The Studio. I watched that last episode of The Studio. It's very funny.
It's very funny.
It's very funny. And
if you haven't seen it, The Studio is a 10-episode limited series, as we say nowadays.
Yeah.
On Hulu.
But I don't know how limited it is. Why are you calling it limited series?
Well, that's what the Emmy Awards call.
Is it? Is it in the limited series category?
I don't know.
I think you just might have made it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a series.
It's a series.
It's a series.
Created by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg,
Yeah.
who directed all of the episodes. Seth is the nominal star of the series, and there are 3 other or 4 other collaborators who wrote it with them.
Yeah.
So it's the first episode. I wasn't sure how I felt. It's about a guy, a very insecure guy, who is somehow now running Continental Studios,
A movie studio.
a movie studio, and he surrounds himself with 3 or 4 really close associates. And
I would disagree with that as a description so much as he has associates that he's desperately trying. In some cases, he's known them a long time. He's desperately trying to impress everyone.
right, always,
He wants to make art. He is, like this is his dream. This is his passion. But unfortunately, he has trouble sort of expressing it.
Yeah.
We've talked about the show a little bit before. And
it's laugh out loud.
It's very funny. The question I keep having, and I keep asking other friends, is if the show is funny to people not in the industry. Because part of why the show is funny is that it's extremely accurate. My friend Jason talked to his parents about it, and they said it just seems too ridiculous. All of it is too ridiculous. And Jason was going, frighteningly enough, no, it's kind of dead on in almost every possible way. So yeah, I found it very funny. I enjoy it.
If you want to just sample one episode, I would recommend episode 2, which is called The Oneer.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's very funny. It's very funny.
That's as funny as anything I've ever seen.
Yeah. Because I don't know if it's funny to people who are not in any way in the industry. Yeah. Josh is saying Sarah Polly feels like she's lived that, but that's what I mean, Joshy. Like there's so many things. There's a ton of cameos, and that's part of what makes it is the cameos where people are playing themselves. Mm-hmm. I say themselves in quotes, not really. It's wild, and it seems like everybody's having a good time. Like, I feel like that's a good way to describe it, is it really does look like they're all enjoying themselves. I hope they are. Yeah. So we'll see if it comes back for another season. It could. And because they are who they are, they get everybody. I mean, I was talking to Madeline about it, but I was just like, did anybody say no?
Well, they said, the whale, the white whale, mm-hmm. was getting Martin Scorsese. This is not a spoiler to reveal this. Martin Scorsese appears in episode 1 as himself. And when he said yes,
that was it.
All the other doors open.
That was it. Yeah. It's, Doug's saying the Golden Globes episode was hilarious. That's what I mean. The whole thing was just genuinely funny. But again, would be interested to sort of hear for people who don't, pay attention to sort of the industry and all of that, if it would be funny. Doug says, I think it was renewed for a second season. I can Google and find out. But yeah, so that just finished. There's 1 episode left of Handmaid's Tale. And it's very funny when you have a show like that has grown a lot and changed a lot. People are all over the map for how they feel about everything. And it's interesting because it is truly provocative. It is provoking people in a big way. And I kind of love, because you've watched it for such a long time at this point, you realize with these shows, because in some cases they don't come out every year. It can take a little longer. Yeah. So even just to see what they looked like episode 1 to what they look like today, quite different. It's a trip. And so you have these emotional connections to these characters because you've watched them for so long. Yeah. So even if you don't I have friends who don't love the series anymore, but you kind of just have to keep watching, like you need to know where it's going.
Yeah.
And that just, so yeah, I'm interested to see how they decide to end it, how they decide to finish the whole thing. Man, oh man. So there's that one that's just ending. Godfather of Harlem is smack in the middle of their season.
Okay.
Hacks
has one more episode.
Hacks has one more episode. Hacks is so good. It's so good. They're just, Yeah. Yeah. Gene Smart, Josh saying Gene Smart and Hacks episode 9 is masterclass. Every episode, what blows me away with her every time is that you believe everything. You believe that you believe she's funny the way she's funny.
Right.
It's a little bit, I was thinking about this the other day. It's a little bit like Maisel, like Marvelous Miss Maisel, where if you don't fully, completely believe that Rachel is, Midge Maisel, then none of it works.
Right.
You believe that she is that.
Yeah.
And that she is funny and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And with Gene Smart, it's like you just believe it. It
Yeah.
feels so real. And so all these clips that they're doing, again, giving nothing away, she has a show. But the clips of her, they feel real.
Yeah.
All the clips feel real.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just
and this is the problem I have with L'Etoile.
mhm.
My wife and I loved the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed the show, start to finish, and look forward to each new season,
yeah.
each new episode.
Yeah.
And now Amy Sherman Palladino and her husband, Daniel Palladino, have created a new show called L'Etoile, which is about a celebrated dance troupe, ballet troupe in New York, and a similar troupe in Paris, doing a swap of choreographers and leading performers
Mhm.
for a season, just as a stunt to try to goose their attendance, because like all forms of the arts now, they're losing their
Patronage.
their constituency. And we finished watching episode 1, which was a little longer than I think than usual. We just said, "Oh."
Yeah, I got to episode 2. It was okay,
Yeah.
but it wasn't holding. Ken just finished all of White Lotus. Still not sure what I thought of it. I stopped watching season 3. Again, we talked about that show.
Yeah.
I thought the first season was god awful. I watched it. It became like everybody was, and I thought, well, I guess I'm in it now. So I finished it. I thought that was awful. Season 2 I thought was great. Season 3 started and it has so many people in it that I like so much. And then it just kept going and I stopped watching. They finished it.
No.
I did. No, Mommy did.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mom,
your mother.
Forgive me. You did not finish it.
No,
Mommy
I bailed.
It. So I don't know. It's a tricky, as I say, there's so many shows and keeping up with all of them. It's
But the very fact that we're discussing these shows with such vigor, and passion, and not the new movies, tells you what's happening in our culture.
Well, in our culture, but I will say for us, and it's tricky in this is, I don't get to go to movies anymore because I have a child. So I will watch stuff that's streaming, though even then I don't always have, frankly, the mental capacity to really pay attention to a film. What I will do sometimes with TV shows is I'll watch them and then I'll watch them again because I know that I'm not always taking everything in.
Right.
And so it allows me to do that. I will watch movies sometimes, just compared to how many movies I used to watch, it's nothing. You and Mommy do not often have the energy to go to the movies anymore.
Yeah.
It has become harder.
Although being sick the last 2 weeks, I missed the press previews of Lilo and Stitch, and Mission Impossible, and one other, the third one. So now I'm behind.
Yeah.
And I want to get caught up.
Yeah.
I did see Sinners because I showed it in my class, USC.
Yeah. And you talked about that quite a bit the other day. But if you didn't hear him quickly, he liked half of it. He thought half of it was good.
That's a film I think I do have to see a second time.
Yeah.
And that's what I intend to do.
Yeah. Yeah. As I would say, it's just interesting. Lottie's saying it's well pace of dialogue just doesn't work with with the leads compared to powerhouse of Gilmore Girls and Maisel. Well, see, and again, it's tricky. It's really tricky. You become known for something, right? And some people can do it so well, and some people just can't. And it's exactly that. It either works or it doesn't work. And it's funny because I have friends who discovered Gilmore Girls later, didn't watch it at the time, and couldn't get used to the speed of the way they're talking. I guess because I saw it organically when it was, it started and everybody was watching it, that I just never thought about how quickly they spoke. It just made sense that that's how they sounded. But yeah, it's again, when you come to something has such a big part of all the rest of it. Because again, like I think Maisel is just incredible. I think it's an incredible show. It has obviously, as it goes on, it has some better episodes, some are not as good, but they are all so good. That cast is ridiculous, and it's wild. No, we haven't seen Thunderbolts. We have not seen Thunderbolts. No.
Nor have I seen Bad Shabbos. I'm curious about it too, but I don't know how curious I am.
How curious are you?
Yeah, how much effort am I willing to expend?
Yeah.
In order to see it?
I don't know. I have a question for you guys because we were just talking about it. My parents were catching up with some friends the other day, and they were discussing the whole thing about the Walt Disney animatronic. And I bring it up only because it's been now probably a year-ish since the conversation sort of got more serious. He hasn't seen Ballad of Wallace Island yet. The last couple of weeks have been a bit nutty here health-wise for everybody, so we're all quite behind on the more recent films. But yeah, so about a year ago is when they started talking about the Walt animatronic, less as a thing of a maybe and more of a no, this thing's coming.
Yeah.
And then at D23 last year is when they really solidified that. And that is when Joanna Miller, who is Diane Disney Miller's daughter, that's Walt's daughter, Diane. So Walt was her grandfather. She came out and said plainly, Grandpa didn't want this. My mother didn't want this. None of us want this. And Disney owns what they own, and they don't really have to pay attention to what the family says. So they went forward with it. And now I guess with the 70th anniversary coming at Disneyland, they're going to unveil it.
Yeah. Don't say too much more.
My question is to them is what do you think? Part of me looks at it and says, well, if you think about how they've done the other animatronics, the idea is not to make you think this is Walt Disney. It's sort of just to kind of capture you. So people who grew up seeing Abe Lincoln or, any of the other ones, it wasn't meant to be, oh, that's the real guy. It was sort of I don't know. What do you think?
It doesn't offend me.
Yeah.
It doesn't offend my sensibilities because I did grow up watching the real Walt Disney, and I have a very clear picture in my mind. And if they've done as good a job as I hear they have, then I would find it intriguing.
Yeah.
And Walt Disney was a futurist.
Yeah.
He was always ready to move on to the next big thing.
Yeah.
And so I don't think he would, I don't think he would mind.
Yeah. I don't think, but it yeah. I don't know yet. I think we kind of have to see what the hell it is and what they do with it. It's been interesting to see. I don't know how much you guys have followed the big openings of Epic Universe in Florida, where they've just brought out this giant world. Have you seen any of the videos of the dragons from How to Train Your Dragon from Epic Universe?
No.
I have to show you some of the videos. They are mind-blowing, like mind-blowing. I've never seen anything like that. The Baker family, Rick Baker and his family just went to the big opening, and I've been talking to one of his daughters about it. So I said, how did it look? And there's a horror aspect to it, a significant one. So there's great pictures already with Rick and Frankenstein's monster and the bride and all of that. So what I'm hearing so far is that people are enjoying it, but it still needs to sort of get filled out. That's kind of where it seems to land at the moment, is that there's a lot more coming. But I find it interesting, and I like that they want to bring the monsters back to life in that way, that they want to give people a world they can explore in that way, because people enjoy it, you know?
I'm happy here.
I know you are. But that's because you don't like rides or anything like that. It's just,
I'm really not into any of that.
no, it's not your thing. I know that, but it's cool to see. Look, it's like for me, when Halloween comes around, we live close to Universal Studios here in Hollywood, because it's not in Hollywood, but that's another detail. We live right near Universal Studios and grew up really close to it. And, you know, the things that they did for Halloween, it was nice that they included the famous monsters.
Right.
It wasn't just Freddy Krueger out there. It wasn't, you know, they have the Wolfman, they have those. And because it is Universal, the makeup is fantastic, you know? And so I like, at least people are getting history, whether they know it or not. That's always my feeling.
Well, yes.
I want people to be getting history in a way that they don't even know they're getting it, so they can't even say no to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you're just accidentally learning about film history. Mwahaha.
Several people have asked about notables who've passed away in the past few weeks.
Yeah, we've had
and one of them was very special to me, Robert Benton, the writer and director, and who Kramer versus Kramer, Places in the Heart. He started out as an art director at Esquire magazine, and he and Leslie Newman, who met there, created the Dubious Achievement Awards, which was something people looked forward to all year long, the issue of Esquire with the Dubious Achievement Awards. And he was the one who organized all the jazz musicians who gathered for a great day in Harlem. That was his doing as the art director of the magazine. He and Leslie Newman wrote the screenplay for Bonnie and Clyde. And the rest is pretty well. They wrote What's Up, Doc, too. I mean, they had a big influence together on a transition to new cinema, late 60s and through the 70s. And then he directed some stuff that he wrote himself and made wonderful movies. I met him in New York because, I was still living there, because he was a frequent visitor to the Museum of Modern Art. Used to go there all the time to see movies of all ages, new, old, whatever. And I got him to come to my class with one of his weaker films, one of his later films that just didn't really pay off. But I got to talk to him at length. And one of his final films was called The Human Stain.
Nicole Kidman?
Yep.
Yeah.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman, Harry Lennox. I loved this movie. I thought it was provocative and really good. And I was the only person on the planet who felt that way, apparently. It got no traction. It got no love. And it really ticked me off. And I did what you're not supposed to do, I guess, as a film critic. I wrote him a note just saying, it must be discouraging, not getting the kind of praise you deserve for this exceptional film, but know that you have at least one diehard fan, admirer. And he wrote me back a nice note. He said it was very meaningful to him. So I'm glad I did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad that he responded.
Yeah.
He made several good films with the writer Richard Russo. Nobody's Fool. Somebody just asked me my favorite, if I have one. One of them is Nobody's Fool with Paul Newman. Really good. From a Richard Russo novel, which he adapted. And Newman starred in that. And they did another project for television, but I forget the name of it right now. A very talented man, and who lives to 92. I mean, never enough time.
No, but we'll take 92.
Yeah.
We'll take 92.
Yeah.
Doug says he's reading Pictures at a Revolution, the Mark Harris book about the 67
great
Oscars.
Book. Great book.
We had Mark on the show, on our podcast, I guess 2 years. I have no sense of time. Some years ago, not very long ago. Fascinating guy, really fascinating guy. I do love to think about what he and his partner talk about. Is it Tony
Kushner.
Kushner? The idea that he and Tony Kushner are in the same apartment somewhere, my brain goes, "What happens in this place?" But they're both pretty incredible fellas. Leonard, the dividing line on Human Stain is whether or not you have to read the book. I love the book and was therefore disappointed with the film. It softens Roth's books a little.
Okay, that's fair.
That's always, as we know, that's always really tricky, because do you do both? You've mentioned before that Justin Chang sort of notoriously reads the book and watches the movie, and we'll kind of discuss both.
Well, watches the movie first,
and then reads the book.
So he's not disappointed or have unrealistic expectations for the movie. Having watched the adaptation, he then reads the book and then writes a very intelligent review where he can refer to
those kinds of details. As I say, it's hard because I think that, especially depending on the kind of book, is it a book that is meant to sort of attach itself to you? Does it go to your heart? And if you have that kind of a feeling about it, can you watch something? I remember, because I don't think you forget this experience, I remember the very first time a book freaked me out, the very first time a book made me cry. And it was Ender's Game, was the first that ever made me cry. We had to read it for school. And I remember being in my room and I couldn't stop reading it and I was crying. And I'll never forget that. And when they announced they were going to make a movie out of it, I didn't know how to feel, because I went, oh, I don't know that anything can have that same effect on me. The other was Go Ask Alice, which was also a book we had to read for school. And that one was my first experience not being able to put a book down, was needing to know where it was going, like desperately needing to know where it was going. And that is the magic of books, obviously, especially when you're young, is that you just get completely wrapped up and it's special. And, my mom, stuff like The Lovely Bones, where that book was so popular. Most people I know who loved that book did not like the movie. And if you didn't read the book, people seem to be okay with the movie. So it's always going to be tricky, I think. It's always going to have a bit of a moment. Hi, Leonard and Jesse from Australia. Hello.
Hello.
Last week, Disney announced a marketing deal with Mickey and Friends and Formula One. Yep, they went over to the UAE. It was a whole thing. Number of folks that we know, friends of ours, were there, which was also a trip to see the photos. And I don't know. Apparently, they're going to try and build a land there somewhere in like Bahrain or whatever it is. I don't know. If it works for them, Godspeed. I don't know.
Answering someone else here, having seen the original Broadway production of 1776 by Sherman Adams, and then seeing the movie version that was, it's not a photographed play. It's not that, but it is faithful. It's a faithful reproduction of the play, which is rare. And I thought they did it great. I thought and to have all those performances,
to have them forever in one place. And we love the musical. We love the musical.
One of Jesse's first Broadway experiences was seeing the revival with Brent Spiner as John Adams.
Yep. And he was fantastic. Yeah. And we got to go backstage afterwards and speak to him. And I think that's the only thing that the film was missing was the immediacy, because you can't do that in a movie. Part of the whole thing with 1776 is it's happening and it's in motion. A film can't. So if you're going to go to someone's house to speak to someone in musical land on a stage, you're going 5 feet,
right?
So the moment when they do, he plays the violin is a very different scene in the movie as it is to the actual play, because it has to be. It wouldn't make sense for her to magically appear there. So it was a whole thing. When we interviewed Bill Prady, he also loves the musical and the film, and he has a set piece from it we were just nerding out. We were nerding out so hard. I love that musical. I really love that musical. And I'm so happy that I got to see the production that we saw because it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it has completely stayed with me. And my mom and I listen to that album all the time. It's so, so good. But yeah, that was a real experience for sure.
Charles Strauss. Well, Charles Strauss is in the Hall of Fame already and has been for decades. If only Bye Bye Birdie,
Mm-hmm.
you know, which is not a masterpiece. It's not an innovative, groundbreaking
But
show.
every kid does it at school. Everyone's done a production.
That's right. And a very talented guy. And if they're not doing that, they're doing Annie.
Yeah.
Yeah. The New Yorker has a nice audio interview with him on their podcast. I don't know how you acquire that, but you can find out. Go to the New Yorker. The current, this week's edition of the podcast has like about a 15-minute piece about Charles Strauss, and it's very nice.
Some of you are mentioning lyrics from 1776. I will tell you that I got yelled at by my history teacher because while taking a test in 7th grade, when you're doing this, all the stuff that's about 1776, I would be singing it. Mostly in my head, but apparently not completely in my head, trying to remember different things, going, John Adams, it stands for John Adams, Lees of Old Virginia, and oh God, Mrs. Bernstein would just say, Jessica. I was like, I'm sorry, I just was trying to remember sorry about that. Got in trouble a few times, but I got it right, so that's really all that matters.
Yes. Means to an end.
That's it. Again, it's funny the different ways in which you fall in love with a story, whether it's a book, whether it's a musical or a play that you get to see, a TV version of it. It's
someone brought up the fact that Roger Ebert always said that he never read a book that he knew was going to be made into a movie. I'm the same.
Mm-hmm.
My wife reads sometimes bestsellers.
Yeah, she doesn't mean to read them before they're films.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
she just reads them.
She just reads them, but I don't want to have that experience.
Yeah,
I don't want to because reading a book is such an intimate experience that it's rare that a stage play or a film or a TV adaptation can give you the same feeling. Mm-hmm. Not impossible, but rare.
I will, for the life of me, never forget the first time that I heard someone pronounced Hermione Granger, because I'd been reading the Harry Potter books and I just thought it was Hermione. It was Hermione. Hermione was her name. And then they went Hermione. And I was like, who in the hell, Hermione? Your imagination's going. It's figuring out what it looks like. That will always make me laugh, is still reading stuff about how pissed people who were what they called at the time twihards, people who were obsessed with Twilight, that Kristen Stewart didn't have the right coloring for the character and stuff like that. Because some people, they need them to be exact. They need them to be as exact as humanly possible. And that's fine. Good luck to them. But it's again, funny what will get somebody worked up.
Sure.
They go, well, you can't have so-and-so do this. That's not what they look like. And you think, but is it that big of a, okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else is coming. My brain is my brain lives as mush now, but trying to think about even what's coming up that's supposed to be interesting. Oh, Jesus, this show Sinners. I'm starting to say to mommy, this show, not Sinners, sorry, Sirens. Jeebus. There's a new show on Netflix called Sirens, and it is a limited series. Thank God it's a limited series. What an actual, forgive me, just garbage, just absolute. And you're watching, Julianne Moore, truly a phenomenal actress in this. And you're going, you had bills to pay. I respect that. What the hell am I watching? Like the everything about it, just awful. For the life of me, how do we do these things?
Many years ago, I got to present an award to Julianne Moore at the LA Film Critics.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was a luncheon back then for her performance in Boogie Nights, which won us all over because here's a truly gifted actress playing a truly awful amateur
Mm-hmm.
actress.
Mm-hmm.
How do you do that? But she did.
Yeah. And she did it beautifully because she's amazing. And we saw her at Spirit Awards
Yeah.
earlier this year. She's so nice. She's so kind. Why did she make this show? It's all right. It's fine. It's yeah, the way that Josh described it to me is he said people seem to be saying it's okay. And my response to them is you're lying. You can tell how annoyed I was with how awful
Yeah.
it was because it was just awful. Oh yeah. Sometimes you're watching something and you really are just like someone paid money to make this happen. Somebody worked really hard
Yes.
to make this happen.
And nobody,
why God, why?
Right. Nobody sets out to make a
No,
bad
no,
movie
no, nobody does.
or a bad TV show.
But boy, did they. But Josh, you said that it wasn't even getting that bad. The reviews weren't that bad. No, look, everybody needs to work. And let me tell you, living here and with everything that's been going on of late, people really need to work. So I am all for them working. I'm just also all for me not having to watch it. Because I got to 3 episodes. I kept thinking maybe this gets better at some point. It doesn't. It didn't get better, which is actually something that my dad has said countless times. If at a certain point you're still going, surely this must get better, it's usually not going to get better.
No, most bad movies telegraphs the fact that they are bad.
Yeah.
In the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. And it's just. Yeah. No, Ken, that's the whole point, Ken. He said a lot of actors won't know how a film turned out until afterwards. Well, this is and I've actually said this to a number of the actors that we've interviewed of late. It has to be a crazy feeling to do whatever it is you're going to do. And then you walk away and you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know how it's going to be edited.
Right.
You don't know anything really.
No.
And you're not going to find out,
the visual effects.
You're not going to find out what it looks like for many of them until either opening night or a cast and crew screening right before it's going to open. It is rare that you can do anything about it. And unless you're someone who is involved in the back and the front, but like you're just doing it. So it's not your fault generally.
Yeah.
But it is a trip. You put it out there. Yes, Frank, as you know, I do just let loose. Frank says, I like how Jesse just lets it loose. Well, I'm not Leonard Maltin. Leonard Maltin is tactful and nervous, very nervous, and always worrying about how something is going to come across. I, on the other hand, Frank,
I would say aware.
I am not sometimes nervous. I would put nervous in there too, because I am not an esteemed film critic and film historian. I can just say that something was garbage because it's just my opinion. It doesn't matter. But yeah, as I say, there's just so much. You watch something great, and then you watch something else.
Yeah.
And you wonder where one went wrong and one went right.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
where one took a turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, as I said, Scott and I my husband and I, we were watching Welcome to Wrexham. The new season has started again. And that's perfect for just watching. It's exactly what we need when we're all relaxing. It's me and Daisy and my husband in bed. She's usually coloring and he and I are watching Welcome to Wrexham. It's perfect for that. It's not meant to be groundbreaking. It's not meant to be, you don't have to ponder thought. It's like, it's just interesting to watch. It's interesting because it is about this football league that is trying to actually go somewhere. It's interesting because you are learning a lot of sort of behind the scenes about, frankly, how much money you have to lose to become successful in this sport. They're constantly having to fix the pitch, the field, and it costs millions of dollars to do this. Millions of dollars to do this. And someone has to break it to Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney that it's going to cost millions of dollars. And each time just watching their faces is priceless. So, as I say, it's that's a great show that you can just watch. And I recommend it to you because it's perfect for that. It is relaxing. It's fun. It is interesting. It's interesting to sort of learn the facts of these different places. But yeah, it requires nothing of you, which I appreciate very much. You guys, when I mentioned last Sunday that my dad still wasn't feeling well, folks asked what you guys were doing. And I said, they're watching TCM. That's what they're always doing.
Yeah.
And
That's our go-to.
It's either HGTV.
Yes.
They're either watching
brain off completely.
Yep, they're either watching somebody's trying to buy a house in somewhere and they don't like the backsplash,
right,
or they're watching TCM. And I would say that's pretty standard.
Yeah.
As to your TV has 2 channels.
It's
one or the other. It's one or the other.
Also, we do watch old stuff on YouTube.
Yes.
Lately,
I taught him how to YouTube dive.
Lately, vintage episodes of To Tell the Truth from the late 50s.
Yep.
That's just about my speed.
It's very funny. Jonathan keeps asking about the Wild Thornberrys movie. Mm-hmm. I feel like that. I don't think you ever watched Wild Thornberrys because I was older when that came out. I watched some of it just kind of for fun every now and then with Daisy, but no, don't really remember the movie. But I like the Wild Thornberrys in general.
My wife and I are super bummed, like you, Jason.
Us too.
About the cancellation of Bookies.
Really liked that show.
Bookie, rather.
Yeah, Bookie. Sorry, really liked that show.
Funny show.
Yeah.
It's outrageously funny.
Yeah.
Pushing the envelope from what's acceptable on network TV.
Yeah.
To what you can get away with on cable.
Yeah.
Which is anything.
Yeah.
And they even had a reference to Senor Wences. How can you not love a show like that?
It's all right.
Yeah.
What more do you need? Ryan's asking, do you watch lots of DVDs and Blu-rays too? Usually if something comes in like Kino Lorber, any of those sorts of things, my dad will watch to see sort of what's happening, what's new, how something has been restored. But that is what we will call an active watch versus the such and such is on TCM. We're sitting here and we're just going to have it on all day and we will just be happy. Versus now we're going to listen to the audio commentary of such and such that they've just done.
Yeah.
So we had a funny.
I'm a great admirer of Nothing But a Man by Michael Romer. And if you haven't seen it, it was made in the 60s. It's a film about a Black family that really captures a 3-dimensional view of this family. And the man who made it is white. And which is an inconvenient fact for some people to accept.
Yeah.
I understand, believe me, but it's a great film, genuinely great film.
1 second.
Yes, we watched part 1 of the Paul Rubens documentary.
Yeah.
We watched 3 documentaries in a row, show business related. We watched the new Greta Garbo documentary on Netflix. And it was so pretentious that I didn't
How pretentious was it?
Very.
Get out of here.
Very.
Very pretentious.
And I almost turned it off.
Yeah.
It's hosted on camera by Noomi Rapace, the Swedish actress who played the girl with the dragon tattoo. So it's a good choice. But the presentation just got on my nerves. We kept watching, and Garbo's story is interesting. The woman who willed herself into seclusion and never lost the mystique.
Yeah.
The part that I always want to know more about is which films she considered making in the 1940s, because there are at least 3 that I know of where she did camera tests, screen tests. And so that's what I would like to know more about. Then we watched, because we missed it when it was on Showtime late last year, the Liza Minnelli documentary, just called Liza. Very good, very good, very positive in its outlook, and I would say sympathetic to her and to her mother. Maybe not definitive, but very, very good,
Yeah.
with a lot of revealing stuff. And she has her mother's sort of irreverent sense of humor
She does.
and
She very much does.
and
Yeah.
candor. And then we did watch part one of the Paul
Paul
Rubens
Rubens doc. Yeah.
talk, and interesting, of course. It's all, you know, this is my peer group. But I didn't know if I want to watch another 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was my problem.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to learn that much more about Paul Rubens and his alter ego.
Yeah. Though I will say we knew him a bit and you knew him a bit. He was very kind.
Yeah.
He was very, very kind. And was really big on sending Christmas cards, always sent Christmas cards.
And birthday cards.
And birthday
too.
cards. He was very thoughtful. He was a very kind and very thoughtful man. So, you know, I'm grateful that you had that experience and we got to know him just a little bit. We talked about at home, we've talked about the situation with Liza Minnelli because a friend of ours, really takes care of her. He makes sure she's okay. He checks on her and takes her places if she wants to go places. And very grateful to him for doing that. Because she needs someone, as everyone does, especially as they get older, you need somebody to just be to making sure you're all right, you know? And we've talked about how, she's quite fragile, but she's very funny and obviously has pretty incredible stories. But I can't quite imagine if your dad is who your dad is and your mom is who your mom is, and then you've sort of had this up and down career. So much has happened in her life.
Yeah.
Where do you even start?
Yeah.
You know?
5 marriages? I
think? Something like that.
Yeah.
Where do you even begin? You know, really, with her. But
collectibles
bless
time.
her. Yeah.
Sheet music. I don't think we've ever dived into
Dove.
sheet music. And then, again, I want to be
over here.
Here's an example of a great image that was the one sheet poster for Frank Capra's Lost Horizon. And this poster was commissioned and executed by the great James Montgomery Flagg. And I'm looking for his signature, which has to be here somewhere.
Is it there? Yeah, it's there.
Oh, there it is. Yes, at the very
It's at
bottom.
the bottom, yeah.
At the very, very bottom.
It says it's in black, so it's quite hard to see, but it's there.
James Montgomery Flagg is the man who invented Uncle Sam.
Yep.
During World War I.
So if you are an American, you've seen his stuff.
So if you wanted to buy the poster.
Yes, that's Ken says your mom's favorite actor. That's right. Yeah. That's her beloved.
If you wanted to buy the poster, you have to spend a lot of money.
But if you want this very cool looking sheet music, and it is very cool looking.
You can still find this for like $5 at a flea market.
3 distinctive novelties for the piano?
Always look at the back.
3 distinctive novelties for the piano.
Now, in the teens, the first generation of sheet music was oversized, which is why it's always ragged on the edges.
Mm-hmm. Sean is asking, is it an original print of this?
These are all
real.
Original, real.
They are real.
These are not reproductions. I've been collecting sheet music for a long, long time, and I'm a cheapskate. I don't pay more than a few
unless
dollars.
You really, really want a very fast version of this story. My dad's uncle, my grandpa's brother, wrote music, and his name was Bernie Maltin. And my dad discovered that there was some of his sheet music to be found in different places. And that became sort of a pet project.
Yeah.
Was to find things of Bernie. And you've succeeded.
Yeah, we have a handful. Yeah.
You found a couple of things.
A nice Ruth Edding cover.
Yeah.
For I'm Good for Nothing But Love.
Yeah.
Now see this sheet. It says, respectfully dedicated to Mabel Normand.
There you go. Yeah.
though it is
To
officially,
Miss Mabel Normand.
and this is from, open it up, get the copyright date. Excuse me. 1918.
There you go.
So that's one. Well,
Copyright MCMXVIII.
VII is 8.
Yep.
So here's another entirely different piece of sheet music inspired by or dedicated to Mabel Normand and Mickey. And yet a third.
I recently had to explain to someone that the name is Mac Sennett, not Max Sennett.
Yeah.
And they were really arguing. And I said, you have the internet. You can just look it up. It's Max Sennett. Anyway, these are the kinds of arguments I have.
So sometimes this would be an official tie-in that the studio would have seen as promotion.
Mm-hmm.
Because in those days when there were when there were most civilized middle-class homes had a piano in the parlor, and sheet music sales were substantial, much more than recordings. So sometimes they engineered these variant, today they call it a variant cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arthur saying you must have gone to Colony Records in Manhattan like I did.
Oh, sure. I didn't buy a lot there. The prices were always high. But then here's a song, Help, Help, Mr. Sennett, which is the cry, apparently, of the Max Sennett Bathing Beauties.
I love it. I love a good bathing. You forgot the I'm drowning in a sea of love. Help, help, Mr. Sennett. I'm drowning in a sea of love. You missed a trick. There we go. Too funny.
And then here's another one. Mabel inspired a lot of people to write songs. This is 1921.
The biggest song hit in years, My Sunny Tennessee by Bert Kalmar, Harry Ruby, and Herman Ruby.
Forgotten now.
Oh, wow. I want to be in Tennessee in my Dixie paradise. An angel's voice I hear, I mean my mammy dear. I'd give my soul if I could stroll down among those hills again, for all the world would not be dreary then. I'd love to go to sleep and know that tomorrow I'd rise. And then it ends abruptly.
Yeah.
It says B.
To be continued.
Yeah.
They all wrote about the South. Never having visited.
No.
Never having gone past the Mason-Dixon line. Now, here's an interesting tie-in. This is for the MGM silent film, The Merry Widow, which was based on the Victor Herbert operetta. So the Merry Widow Waltz was already well known and established, but this was the movie edition of the sheet music.
Yes, folks are mentioning Harry Ruby, songwriter for the Marx Brothers.
That's
Several
right.
of you.
That's right.
Mac and Mabel, a flop musical with a great score. It's true. There's some excellent songs in that one.
Very true.
Excellent
Very
songs
true.
in that.
So now, I don't care about the song. I don't care about. I like this cover.
Most of the music he has, he just likes the way it looks. The majority, I would say, of your sheet music is it just looked good and you liked it.
You may ask, do I have any sheet music featuring Maria Uspenskaya? Yes. Yes, I do. In one of her greatest roles in Leo McCarey's Love Affair, a movie that has finally been restored and can be seen and enjoyed as it was meant to be seen. And again, if you try to buy a poster for Mutiny on the Bounty, you're going to spend a bundle. But you could get something like that represents the film just as well.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful.
Here's, I think, this is a British sheet music, because the pricing is indicated on the cover. Did they create sheet music for songs that may have been introduced in cartoons or featured in cartoons? Yes, they did. Here's a good example. Cow Cow Boogie, as popularized by Ella Mae Morse.
Yes, indeed. We
And-
love
and
we
so-
love Ella Mae Morse in this house.
And it's a great rendering.
It's great. Yes, we're big fans of Ella Mae Morris around here.
Mr. 5x5.
That's great. That's great. There's so many boogie woogie options.
Oh, yeah.
Rum Boogie, Boogie Woogie Bugle Boy, Hazel's Boogie Woogie, Cow Cow Boogie. You have boogie options, Daddy.
He was raised on loco weed.
Please. We'll get kicked off the internet, please.
It's what you call a swing half breed. It's political correctness.
Totally.
Right
We
and
love
left, yeah.
political correctness.
All right. How long did this continue?
How long did this continue, Leonard? This long.
Into the television era. If you didn't get enough of the theme song watching Maverick every week, you could bring this home and learn to play it on your piano. And this no longer has ukulele chords, does it?
No.
Okay.
Piano solo.
And not too fast.
Not too fast. That's technical terms in music. If you did music theory, not too fast.
And was it international? You betcha.
Why, yes. Yes, it was.
Piano music for the good, the bad, and the ugly. Things you never thought you'd see. I've never heard Ennio Morricone's music played just by a pianist.
Well, sit down with this sucker and give it a go. I love the detail of it.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Anyway, for a good many years, sheet music sales were a big part of music publishers' income and songwriters' income, more than records. And then records took over, and civilization changed, and people didn't have pianos so much anymore. Blah 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 blah.
Let's see, one of you asked a question. I can't see what it is. 1 second, guys. Can't answer that. Nick saying, what are your thoughts of the head of the Library of Congress being unfairly let go?
Can't go there.
He can't answer that. It's yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? I'm just going to talk about Elmo. You're going to get rid of Sesame Street? You're really going to mess with Sesame Street? Elmo will find you. Elmo's got friends everywhere. And let me tell you, if you want violence, get some kids pissed off. Tell kids that there's a guy, a giant orange man, who's going to take away their Elmo. Not a good idea. Not a wise choice. Someone brought it up at school the other day. And one of the kids goes, what's happening to Elmo? And I was like, yeah, see, you tell a bunch of children that someone's trying to take their Elmo away. Not going to end well for you. Not going to end well for you. But this is also why it's important to have what I will lovingly call us a salon, perhaps a salon, having a conversation here, discussing all sorts of things, be it Epic Universe in Universal Studios, Florida, or The Good, the Bad, the Ugly sheet music that my dad found. It is true, though. You can find all kinds of sheet music. I recommend it because almost any sort of store that has any kind of antiques
Those-
will
those-
usually
those
have some.
Antique malls,
uh,
that don't have any antiques,
Yeah,
just a lot of old junk.
yeah. They'll still have sheet
They'll have a
music.
stack of
You
sheet
find
music.
all sorts of stuff. It's beautiful. It's really fun to just sort of search through the stacks.
Mhm.
And again, it doesn't matter if you know the music or not. Some of them are just fantastic covers. You have some that are absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
And even if you haven't heard of the song or the movie, as I say, they're just fun. They're fun little pieces. And they're still, in many cases, affordable enough that it remains fun.
Yeah.
Because that fun kind of dies when someone goes, "This is adorable. How much do you want for it?"
Yeah.
So yeah, we love these.
$5 is like on the high end.
Yeah, five's pushing it.
Yeah.
Five's pushing it. Because it is sheet music. But eBay is chock full, let me tell you. eBay knows what's up when it comes to sheet music as well. But it's more fun. Like with anything, it's more fun to see it in person, isn't it? It's more fun to find
Yep.
stuff. I do miss that. I miss that from when I was younger and we would just go and discover. But that's also because eBay didn't exist. The internet wasn't a thing.
Right.
And so you really were just kind of walking into spaces blindly.
There
and
are
seeing-
some Sherman Brothers songs available as sheet music,
Mhm.
and their father,
There's a lot
who
there.
was the Tin Pan Alley songsmith.
Yep.
Lots and lots of songs.
Lots of stuff.
My
to
favorite
find.
being 99 out of 100 want to be kissed. Why not you?
Why not you? 99.
Why don't you? 99 out of 100 want to be kissed. Why don't you? Da, 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 da. I could go on, but I won't.
How much does Disney sheet music go for? It just depends on what it is, doesn't it? Again, if there's a lot of something, then, not so much. But like there's a store not too far from us called Blast from the Past. And we went in the other day with some friends. And Myra got a great old Disney record.
Yeah.
I say old, it's from the 70s, which is old enough, I think. And it had a bunch of Mickey Mouse songs on it, and Thea's obsessed with it now. You can still find stuff. She got that for $5. You can still
Good.
find stuff. You just have to kind of look. You got to be a football hero. Yep.
To get along with the beautiful girls.
There's all kinds of stuff you can find. Man, oh man. Next weekend is not, no. Next weekend we're here. As far as I know, we are here. And I'm going to try my best to keep this guy healthy for you so that he can be here. It's always good to be with you guys. I'm sorry that we missed. As I say, my dad's doing much better. And that's all that really matters around here. But we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Other things matter.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Be kind.